Be honest, have you ever Googled something like best tools for estheticians or marketing advice for estheticians and really just found yourself in a black hole of techie marketing advice, marketing gurus, or even just expensive platforms claiming that they're going to boost your bookings overnight? If you are someone who's really stressing out about what to keep in your business, what to add, and then what to just cut whenever it comes to marketing strategies, be sure to stay through the end of this video because I am breaking down the key marketing essentials that every esthetician needs, especially starting out as a solo esthetician or growing your beauty business, whether it be a spa, lash studio, waxing studio, or anything that's service-based. Hey friends, welcome back to Glam Tech Marketing, the place where estheticians can get seen, noticed, and fully booked using marketing strategies that actually work. My name's Faith. I am a licensed esthetician as well as a digital marketing strategist with over 6 years helping beauty professionals grow their businesses and boost their clientele. First up is a website. That's right, social media is not enough. Even if you think it is towards the beginning, you really should be starting out with a strong, polished, professional website, even if it's only one page to get started with. Over 60% of buyer journeys start on Google, or at least have Google in like some kind of touch point before they make a decision. So if you're relying on Instagram alone, you are not showing up whenever somebody Googles something like estheticians near me or acne specialist in Dallas. You want to really show up in those search queries because that is where your bread and butter is going to be and where you're going to get the most committed clients because they're out there looking for you. And if you don't have a website, you are basically invisible to Google and Google will continue to ignore you over and over again. By having a good, strong website off the bat, you're initially establishing a good impression for any client that finds you. Even if you don't have a ton of before and afters yet, having a good, solid website and branding can really help establish trust between you and a client before they even step foot in your studio. If your site looks messy or glitchy, it probably means that clients will be skipping over you, even if you have the same licensing and certifications as the esthetician next door. It really doesn't matter to the client because they're going off of the vibe and whether or not they can trust you. So really make sure that you have a website established almost as soon as you open the doors, if not a little bit sooner, so that you can really start to build that trust between you and potential clients and start ranking on Google for local search queries. A good website should have a list of your services or at least like your signature services that you really want to be growing and known for. It should also have your brand name, your location, as well as your address. Just know that the majority of your potential clients are going to be accessing your website through their phone, so be sure to build your website mobile first, which means prioritize the design on your mobile site before you go in and really start finessing the desktop because the majority of your clients will be seeing you through their phone. The last thing that you really should have on your website is any type of testimonials or before and afters. And if you are an esthetician that is still in school, this is a great time to start writing down any type of testimonials. See if you have any of your like test or school clients that are willing to talk to you about your service and write those down so that you have them in your back pocket and you can immediately start adding testimonials to your website. Step 2 is getting a good booking platform. If you are someone who is still booking or planning to book via Instagram DMs or through a notebook and phone, I love you, but that is chaos, not just for you and your back end, but also for your clients because it's not a smooth process. There's a lot of back and forth. So the best advice that I can give you for booking and your booking system is to get a platform early and launch off the bat with an automated booking platform. The best part about booking platforms is that clients can passively book with you 24/7, which means if they see your website and they want to book at 10:30 p.m. whenever you're binging a Netflix reality show, they can do that without your participation. What I really love about booking platforms is your clients are going to get automated confirmations and reminders, which is really great whenever you are trying to establish your business and really map out the essentials. You're probably also making a booking policy, a late fee policy. Those are the types of things that get communicated to your guests via the booking system. I highly recommend Gloss Genius, Vagaro, and Square to kind of start your search. I feel like those are overall beginner friendly, and I've had a good experience with Square and Gloss Genius. So I think that that's a really great starting point if you're not sure where to go. One thing I will say about Gloss Genius is they have many websites. I personally don't think that those are very SEO optimized or a good contender for Google. I feel like they don't tend to show up. So that's just something to keep in mind if you go the Gloss Genius route. However, they do have a good booking system, and they do have some add-ons if you want to do like email marketing or things like that as well. One pro tip that I will say is be sure to have a backup of your client data somewhere. Whenever you choose a booking platform, it's important to have one that will grow with you. But whenever you switch from one platform to another, if you have a large client list, there is a risk of losing client data, and that is like a worst case scenario, not just for you, but also your clients. You really want to keep that client data close to you at all times to make sure that you can constantly reference it. So be sure to have a backup of your data somewhere. Of course, keep it safe. You want to stay within like the privacy policy of your clients giving you their name, number, and information. However, if you're just going to use one platform, be sure that you have that saved, just in case you need like a longer term solution if you ever scale or upgrade later. Another marketing essential that a lot of estheticians miss, especially early in their business, is email marketing. A lot of estheticians feel like email and text marketing are only for people who have large spas or multiple staff members or have a lot of information to communicate, even though that's not really the case. What I love about email marketing is, unlike Instagram, you actually own your email list and you can take it with you to different platforms, and it's something that you can always rely on in terms of deliverability. Whereas social media, you don't own those followers, you don't own the content that you're putting out on Instagram, and if Instagram decides that your content doesn't need to be shown to some of your followers or some of your clients, it just won't show them. Whereas email, it will get delivered to the email addresses that you have. So you have a 100% chance of showing up in someone's inbox, unless you have like deliverability issues, but that's like a whole other can of worms. You shouldn't be experiencing that whenever you're first starting. But for the most part, you are showing up at their inbox, you are making sure that you're being seen and heard by your clients, especially clients that might have lapsed or like fallen off, haven't gotten a treatment in a while. It's a good way to bring them back in, and really easy to communicate availability as well as promotions that you have coming up. Platforms I recommend are Flowdesk, MailChimp, as well as ActiveCampaign. I do like ActiveCampaign, especially if you are coming from maybe another business or you do have some clients generated. ActiveCampaign is really great for large lists. Flowdesk is a little bit more aesthetic, but they do not have any type of SMS capabilities, so that's something to keep in mind. And you don't need to overcomplicate this. The biggest thing is start collecting those emails and send an email whenever it makes sense. You know, whether it's a monthly newsletter or just to communicate your availability in the next 2 to 3 weeks if there's a holiday coming up. If you have a new service or treatment or product, that's a really great place to start with your marketing, because you already have clients who trust you and are kind of warmed up and ready to book if there's something exciting. The next essential is your new secret weapon, and that is Google Business Profile. This is a super underrated tool, and a lot of estheticians still don't know about it, and it's completely free. So it's very important to me that you understand what this is, know how it benefits your business, and go and do it like almost immediately. So I've talked a lot about Google and search queries, and really Google is such an undertapped market in a lot of ways for new estheticians, because a lot of estheticians don't realize that you can start ranking in your city or for a specific specialty on Google quicker than you think. I think I'm gonna do a video that goes over like the step-by-step process, but if you type in Google Business Profile, it's pretty easy to get started. They have a guide that will step-by-step with you. I think the most important thing is having a booking system in place and a website that at least has like one page of how to book with you, your name, your logo, your address. Those types of things really help build trust. Once Google feels like they can trust you, they will start to move your position of your business up further and further. So maybe the first month of your business, you won't be in like the top 10 spots, But as you continue to collect Google reviews and testimonials, and you really start to work on your profile, you can really raise in the ranks. And if nothing else, it will be the first thing that people see whenever they Google your business. And that alone is a very legit way to show up and make a first impression that you're building that trust and they're safe to book with you because you have a Google profile, you have a website, and you're ready to go. I have one more tip before we move on, and that is to start collecting Google reviews early. So I've already spoken about testimonials, but again, Google loves a profile that they feel like they can trust and a business that they can trust, because Google has not gone into your studio. They've never experienced your treatment. So the way that you can build trust with this platform is to have a bunch of 5-star reviews. My first goal for you would be 10. So start with 10 5-star reviews and then continue to build from there. Any client that you feel like you had a connection with, any happy client at the end of their service, ask them for a review. Okay, the last essential that I'm gonna share with you before we move on to the things that you can really skip if you're really trying to map out like the basics and the essentials of your marketing plan. So the 5th essential before we move on is going to be branding and your logo. And no, you don't need a $5,000 logo and design package to get started. However, going a step above a Canva logo, that you get from like the templates, it really does make a difference in terms of making you seem like a legit brand that can be trusted. People are trusting you with their skin, and so they really do rely on first impressions, making sure that you feel like a legit business, and design and branding really does initiate the legitness of your business. The right look attracts the right client. So if you're wanting like a luxury clientele, go with a luxury feel. Again, go a step above the Canva templates. Really start to look up Pinterest of what's out there, and if you do have a little bit of money to invest, it is a good, idea to maybe look into potential designers, but it's not necessary. But really keep in mind your ideal clientele. What type of clientele do you want? Do you want like a really dedicated acne clients? You might want to go a little bit more clinical. If you want more luxurious facials that are more of like a day spa kind of feel, then you might want to go with like a soft and feminine look, that type of thing. And remember, it doesn't matter how good of an esthetician you are. If your branding and your marketing looks sloppy or sketchy, you will not see a full client book for a very long time. It just takes a lot longer to build your clientele whenever you're basically begging people to give you a chance. Whenever your branding is like upfront, very professional and polished, and communicates the type of clientele that you want, then you don't have to beg for clients to trust you. They just will trust you. Before we move on, I'm dying to hear what marketing tool or essential was a total game changer for you, or what marketing tool are you still debating on? I gotta know. Okay, so let's talk about what we can skip in year 1 or while we're still kind of establishing the marketing essentials. What are things that we just don't need at the moment while we're building those foundations? The first one is going to be overbuilt CRM systems, which is client relationship management softwares. Basically, they're like tracking systems where you can track a client's behavior. You can also initiate marketing with them. There's a lot that you can do with CRM platforms. However, whenever you're first starting out, it can be very overwhelming. And a lot of these like MindBody, Boulevard, I think also has a very advanced version of this. It's very valuable as you scale or if you have multiple staff, but if it's just you or you're just starting out, you can grow into it, but I wouldn't prioritize it because it's very overwhelming and you can sink multiple hours into getting everything set up, and it can ultimately just be very confusing for you and sometimes also the client. It's like the equivalent of going out and buying a Ferrari as soon as you pass your driver's test. Like, it's just not necessary, but we'll get there. It's a goal. The next thing that you can skip is kind of a hot take coming from a digital marketing strategist. However, you can definitely skip marketing agencies whenever you're first laying out your foundation. You typically don't hire like a wedding planner before you even start dating someone seriously. Kind of the same thing. You don't want to go get a marketing agency to build out Facebook ads for you or SEO best practices because you don't fully have your essentials down. Before you go into a marketing agency, you need to know what goals you have for your business. You need to know the basics of metrics that you want to improve. For the most part, marketing agencies are very action oriented and they form their strategy based on your goals, which means they can go out and take action on what you feel like is important. But if you don't really know what the important metrics are for your business, they really are grasping at straws. They don't really know the best way to go about it. And you might be seeing results from them from like Facebook ads or Google ads, but you're really not seeing those bookings because you don't have the foundations of your marketing set up. Outsourcing your marketing is also incredibly expensive. It can go up to thousands and thousands of dollars. Even if you're, establishing your branding, your strategy, your website, there are marketing agencies out there that can do that for you, but you have to put in that financial investment and it can get very pricey. So kind of be honest with yourself of what you're able to upfront invest, and know that you can always go to an agency route and outsource those kind of tedious marketing tasks once you start getting more revenue and you feel more comfortable putting a percentage of that revenue into a marketing agency. The next one is an important one and really gets a lot of people, so I want to talk about it. And that is engagement bots or buying fake followers. Buying fake followers or participating in engagement pods usually will bring you the wrong type of future followers and tell Instagram to push your content to followers that don't actually align with your key metrics, which is getting booked from people that live in your city. It's not going to send any type of content to people who live in your city. It's going to send it to fake AI bots or people who essentially have these like fake accounts. I see a lot of engagement pods in the esthetician like Facebook group space, and they're really not a good idea because you are increasing your follower count with other estheticians who are not in the market to book with you. You should set the mindset that 200 real followers, heck, 20 real followers are better than 2,000 or 20,000 fake followers that are not interested in your services. The Instagram algorithm can also start to notice if your engagement rates are very low compared to your follower count, and it will start to suppress your content because it doesn't think that it's valuable and that your followers are not interested in it. It can also be very expensive if you're buying fake likes or fake followers because you're basically creating a front that you have to continue to keep up, and it's just financially draining, it's mentally draining, it's not successful. Don't do it. Just get into the mindset that social media does not need to be for virality purposes. It's for really just increasing your reach and people in your community. Another thing that you can really skip while you're laying out the marketing essentials is running ads before you're ready or before you have clarity within your business. Things like boosting posts, running ads to a link that really isn't very impactful, or having a graphic that the messaging doesn't really convey or communicate with your audience in a compelling way. Those are things that you're just wasting money on, and you really need to make a plan on what is your goal of ads. Why would you put $500 to $500 into Meta's algorithm to give your ad to someone specific? What does that person look like? What goal do you want them to do? What's the next action step? Why should they feel compelled to take that action, to click on your photo? Those are all things that you need to think about and get clarity around before you hit publish with Instagram ads or any ads of any kind. So this goes for Google, Instagram, Facebook, a magazine. These are all advertising platforms that can cost a lot of money, and even if it's just $5, you do not want to waste it. You don't want to wash it down the drain. So really have your metrics and your goals aligned before you go in and advertise. If you want to dive in further to how to be booked, how to get clients from first impressions all the way down to booking with you, then go ahead and grab my free Book Me Up checklist in the link in description. This is a free workbook where you can go through and analyze every single step of the marketing process from first impression all the way to booking to make sure that you have a streamlined process that is compelling and really inclines a client to take action. Thanks again for taking the time to watch. If you found anything helpful in this video, please like and subscribe. It's completely free and worth every single penny. Again, my name's Faith, and I look forward to chatting with you soon. Bye.